Hello, experience creators. It's Lynan Saperstein, and you're getting me fresh from the gym because Maddie Moon just reminded me that I didn't give her this amazing training that I wanted to share with this entire community about how to take your signature system, your signature live experience, your retreat, your experience, whatever it is that you're creating, and how to sell it through a talk or a webinar. And you can do this live, you can do this virtually, and add a lot of juicy value. So I made some notes, so I'm going to be popping over to my computer. So the first thing you really want to do is come up with a juicy name, a juicy title for the talk or for the webinar. And it's not just any name, not just like, come learn about this or come buy my retreat, right? Which a lot of people are calling their webinars. Think of something that is so compelling, so enticing, so exciting to someone that they would cancel their plans or, block out their calendar or leave something early to come and join you either online or join you in person. So if you're in a bigger metropolitan city, you could be doing these type of talks at different places like community centers, co-working spaces, things like that, yoga centers, yoga studios, massage studios, things like that, wherever people are having these type of activities. So you really have to come up with something that's like, wow, like I literally am going to cancel my plans, block out my schedule, make that happen. So that's number one. And I think a lot of people, are like, well, what kind of title do I want to go? Well, I want you to pay attention to what your people are struggling with, where they find that they have challenges, they have obstacles, where they're stuck, where they're not sure. And if you can address and start to even begin to answer in your title your ideal client's biggest struggle, they're automatically a hell yes to coming and signing up for your webinar or joining you, okay? So think about where they have pain and how you can solve it, how you can start to solve their problem for them. Let me give you an example. So one of my mentors is Fabienne Fredrickson, and she had a site. She changed her brand, but it was called Client Attraction, and her signature talk was how to attract all the clients you'll ever need. And for someone who runs a small business, having all the clients you'll ever need is like, oh my God, that's what I need. And she took it and she used it pretty universally. She used it for her talk, she used it for her webinar, she had a DVD, all these other things. So if you can come up with that sweet spot where you know exactly what you need to be putting into your webinar or into your signature talk, and again, highlighting it with the title. The title is the first thing they're going to see. They're not going to go and read all the details. The title really needs to pull them in. So the number one thing is that sexy title, okay? And I always call everything sexy in case you don't know that about me. Let's see. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. So the other thing you really want to have them do is pay attention to that, like, how to. So it's letting them know that you're the expert and you're going to teach them or show them or demonstrate to them how to get to another place. And so this is why you'll find out for a lot of talks and a lot of webinars, they start with like how to do this. And sometimes they have like sort of a subtitle where they explain a little bit more, but think about how you can stop something, how you can let go of something. You're either going to increase or decrease something for them. Okay. So pay attention to this, whether you're, making them more money or having them, have more sex, or whether you're going to have less pain. So feel into that space for you, and only you know your ideal client the very best. So if you haven't done ideal client work or client avatar work, get on Google that and get into the mindset of your ideal customer and the person you want to attend your retreats, the person you want to attend your live transformational experiences. So if you're just joining us, because I see a few of you popping on, we are doing a full training on how to put together your signature talk or your signature webinar so you can actually convert sales, whether it's in person or online. So we're just focusing in on this first part is the title. The title is the most important part of your signature talk, right? Because it's really going to kind of hook them in. And I think a lot of people spend too much time on the body of the talk, the content of the talk, and all the stuff you're going to pour out, but don't worry, I'm going to mention that. But the talk title is sort of this afterthought, sort of like throw it up, pop it up. No, really sit down, focus on this title first and let it guide every single thing you do for your webinar and for your signature talk, okay? So pay attention to this title. It's super important. I think there's a couple different ways that people talk to other people, and some people talk at people, and some people really create this engaging experience where, people are drawn in, and this is how you fill a room. This is how you get 100 or 200 or 1,000 people on a webinar. You really need to be magnetic and attractive and pulling in those people that really need you the most. So pay attention to this title, dig into your ideal client, and create sort of this signature talk title first, okay? And again, the how-to, so I have written some other ones down, like you can kind of even throw in things like in 30 days or less, or in a week, and this is all marketing speak, and it's just to inspire them to get moving and to get things going. But again, in your signature title, you really want to say how to, and again, increase or decrease some of their challenges, okay? So let's go, I'm going to have my other notes. Let's go into the actual body, the content of the talk. And like I said, just don't let your title be an afterthought. Make sure you spend some time and really create an amazing title that is going to really pull at the heartstrings, or the experience that your people really, really want, or the result that benefit those final scenes of the movie that your people really, really, really want. And then we get to talk about you. So this is a really simple model. You can write this down. But basically I want you to get in front of these ideal clients and start to convert them. Start to build that tribe. Start to build that community following. And again, even if someone doesn't buy on that first webinar or that first talk, they will later. And I can assure you with this, because I've been hosting Trailblazers Retreat for over 5 years now, and there's been people who are like, it's on my bucket list. I come and listen to all of your webinars. We're following your social media. They love to see the pictures after each event. And so they put it on their to-do list. And if you can, on one of these webinars, help convert them. If in one of your signature talks, you can get them to sort of tip over the fence and say, yes, that's what our goal is, okay? So the number one thing you want to do is again, we always say don't talk about yourself, but this is the one little time I allow you to talk about yourself. But start with a really juicy story, and a story that your ideal client can connect with, that's part of your story. Okay, so when you're introducing yourself, start by telling a story, be a storyteller, be a connector, and help them to really start to bond with you. Okay, so tell them about emotions you feel, challenges you've had that are similar to their challenges. And, and then, even, I want to take you back to 2014. I want to take you back to whenever. And you really want to start to weave yourself in to their own life, so they see parallels, so they start to see themselves as similar to you, okay? So again, start with your juicy, compelling, attractive story. That's really how you tell your bio. That's how you talk about yourself. I don't want cheesy, boring bios. Nobody likes those. But if you start to tell me a story that I really connect with, that I really identify with, and it really speaks to maybe some of the challenges or pain, or just even the triumphs, if you could sort of even take us to the end of the story by the end of your talk, I'll really attach to you, and I'll want that same result, or that same confidence, or same whatever it is that you have that you're selling in your offerings, okay? And if you're not clear about that, you can pop a question below. Number two, you want to really sort of then take the story, and how does it relate to the event that you've curated and created. So why did that story inspire what you've created? And my story around Trailblazers Retreat, so I can kind of give you guys an example, is I tell people, I had started this digital nomad life, and I was going to these gorgeous places, and I was having the time of my life, but I was so lonely. And, I had social media, I had Instagram and Facebook, and all my friends were liking and commenting, but all I wanted was my friends by my side in these gorgeous places. And I knew a lot of them didn't think that was possible for them. And it had become possible for me. And I wasn't making tons and tons of money. And I just wanted them to know that this was a possibility for them. And so, and I also started working at Blue Osa, which was the yoga retreat center. And so I was surrounded by amazing retreats, every single week. And all these people wanted a little glimpse behind that curtain of my life. And that's why I created Trailblazers Retreat, because I wanted people to come and get on an airplane, go to some gorgeous exotic locale, come and join together in community. And I wanted to give them all the juicy business stuff that I was learning while I was working with these super high-end clients around marketing and branding and how to build your business. And I just wanted to really be in community and help them meet amazing like-minded people, because that's a struggle for people across the board. So section 2, if you can sort of see the way I just did that, I'm explaining how my story interrelates to the event that I've created, to the, whether it's a conference or a retreat or a workshop, but I'm weaving it in. And you can, just hint at it. And this is almost still part of your bio, that you're not selling anything. And I often call this selling without selling, but actually selling, right? So you're subtly talking about who you are and what you're about and what matters to you and what you've created, but you're not saying come to the retreat. You're just telling them how amazing it is and how the story of how it came and was birthed from your soul and from your experience. That's, again, where people, it gets pulling at heartstrings. They start to connect to you. They start to connect to the experience, and they start to see themselves there, and they start to want to be there. Before you've even had a call to action, before you've even asked them to attend, they start to visualize and see themselves in that experience, okay? So that's section 2. Number 3, you start to share what I call like sort of the steps or the elements of your live transformational experience, really the system, the process that you've created or curated in your experience. Even if you've never hosted it before, you have an outline of your experience. You've sort of been like, I'm going to do this and this and this activity, and I'm going to have this talk or whatever it is that you've planned out. And, if you can pick the highlights, it's sort of like, you don't have to give all the details, but give them all the stuff at the tip top. And the other piece around that is, people want to know the what and the why. They don't necessarily need to know the how. So if you, are, I was trying to think of a way that like they would really need to know the how, but even there's a couple people in this group who, do like multi-dimensional healing. I doubt very much if they're having one-on-one calls, or even I've seen their sales pages, they're not explaining exactly how you can do multi-dimensional healing, spiritual healing. They're saying, what it is, very, very high level, broad picture, what it is and why you would need it, why you would connect to it. So again, you're still talking to results and benefits of the person's experience. And people, want to give away a ton of stuff for free. Give value. This is what I'll tell you. Give value. Give something that's juicy. Give something that's actionable. Give something that's going to really create a shift in their life. So if you're some sort of healing practitioner, I often see this on webinars, they actually do a small experience. Maybe it's a meditation. Maybe it's a visualization. If you can do energetic clearings, do a little clearing. Take them through a little taste. Take them through a big old bite. And so then they'll want more. But what you can even say that you won't likely get huge results just by this webinar. This is a 45-minute or a 30-minute little taste. But if you came for a 3-day workshop or 3-day event or a 7-day event or a 10-day event, can you imagine what else is possible? You can, again, start to have them visualize how the experience can transform their entire thing. Okay? The other thing that number 4 is like key, and anyone who's ever worked with me knows that I talk about this all the time. Make sure you drip in examples or anecdotes or testimonials of your past and present clients, okay? And people love this because and this is from beginning to end. So the number 4 is sort of like something you want to trickle in or sprinkle in throughout the beginning to the end. And what I like to do if I have a webinar or have a talk, I actually have specific testimonials in front of me. Mostly that's all I have in front of me because I just love to talk and talk and talk. I don't really love an outline. I love a basic outline. I don't like to actually write out my talk. But if you're a super detail-oriented person, have these bullet points of, compelling story into your your event? You know, what are the steps or the elements to the retreat? And then have the specific client or customer testimonials right in front of you. And you know, and you can even tell it really anecdotally, like, actually, I see somebody who's on here who came to Trailblazers Retreat, and she told me how Trailblazers Retreat changed her life. You know, she forgot who she was. She forgot that she loved to dance. She forgot that she loved to laugh so much. And when so much of that shifted on the retreat, she remembered at her core who she was. And when she went back into her business and everything that she created in her life, her relationships, her health and well-being, you know, everything shifted. And if I could find a way to incorporate that great testimonial, I would. And I've got tons of them from Trailblazers. I'm sure you guys have the same. And so if you haven't hosted a retreat before and you are a coach or consultant, you can take from that space. If you've never done this before and you're really, really stuck, maybe pop a comment below and we'll figure out how you could weave in examples of the type of results and actual people who've actually had time and space with you who've gotten that type of results. And you know, the one thing you're doing is you're like showing and telling. You're like, it's like you're a little kid and you're like, you know, I want to show you guys what I can do. Literally, this is what it is. It's a space for you to brag, you know, and say, you know, this experience, this live transformational event that I've created, it actually works. You know, whatever the result is that you kind of promise or sometimes we guarantee, they can actually be like, oh my God, it actually happens. And I say that for Trailblazers Retreat. I always say it's the most transformational event that you'll ever go on, and you will change. Your life and business will never be the same. And I can prove that because I've got these great testimonials. So you're maybe curating that if it's your first few, but if you are a coach or consultant, you've gotten those type of results before. You know what's possible with the way that you deliver an experience, the way you create a container, so you know what's possible for these people. Okay, this is number 5, is like a lot of unexpectedness. A lot of people will think, you know, Lynan is going to say the hard sell, like just dig it in, the call to action, like sell, sell, sell. I actually, for a webinar or a talk in person, I highly recommend a very soft sell. People can feel if you're anxious. People can feel if you have any anxiety about selling. So don't lay it on super thick. You know, really, you know, it's a connecting, it's a personal connection, you know, especially if this is in person, you know, and I've done this in person, and people just really want to get to know you, and they want to know who you are and what you're about, and they start to get a taste of your experience. And if they connect, if there's that little bit of magic, you know, they'll be pulled in. They'll come afterward and speak to you more in depth, or if you give them an opportunity to set up calls with you or apply or whatever, they're going to start to come in and they're going to start to deepen the connection with you. This is merely just the beginning, okay? So again, just like this is sort of a script that I'm giving you, you know, I have a little bit of a written piece. So what you can say is, I just shared everything you need to start this journey. Some of you will go ahead and start implementing, actioning these steps, start making them happen, maybe integrate some of the exercises. And some of you will want to work more directly or more connectedly with me to make things happen faster through my transformational event, and get all your questions answered and really keep the momentum going. Either way, I don't want the content that I share with you to just be what we call shelf help, right? Just to sit on the shelf and never get, integrated into yourself, integrated into your life, whatever it is you're selling, relationship, business, anything, where information just collects dust and it doesn't really get anywhere. So what you really want to invite them to do is to do something about whatever's been activated in their soul. And if I can help, please let me know. Come up after the talk, or, you can open it up for Q&A if it's a webinar, and you can say, I'm really accessible. And I say this, and this is a genuine thing. Like, I am really accessible. I'm a human being. I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I really want to get to know you. And if for whatever reason you got to this webinar, you got to this talk, and you're meant to be here, I want to know you. So I'm super approachable. Come up, email me, say, type in your crazy question in the Q&A. Let's dig into it. And you can also, let them know if it's a little more private, depending on what type of event you're creating. Let's set up a conversation over the next week and see if me and my team or me and my event can really help you and help you get that result or that benefit that you really want. I would love to get to know you, would love to hear about your situation and what's going on for you and see if I can be of assistance. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And when people start to hear that, they're just like, it's like a friend. It's like, and honestly, everyone who's ever attended Trailblazers Retreat is my friend, is somebody that I care deeply about and I deeply for. And, this is not the model for everybody. I'm definitely a heart-centered, soul-centered entrepreneur. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, but I know everyone who's in this group. I pretty much know every single one of you, and I know that you have a similar mindset. And so this is not a hard sell. This is a soft sell. It's inviting them into a conversation. And that's actually the best way to sell a retreat. Most of you know this, that sort of application to make sure you're curating the group, making sure that they're the right mix and alchemy for your event to be extraordinary. So that is sort of all I wanted to sort of dig in. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of homework. So start, if you're just at your beginning stages, just start on trying to curate your title, right? So that juicy title that your ideal client, they're going to be stopped in their tracks, be like, oh my gosh, I'm canceling my plans. I'm blocking out my schedule. I absolutely must be on this webinar or go attend this in live person talk. And if you're a little bit further along and you want a little bit more of a challenge, this is a space for you to start to create your signature talk. Start to curate this, talk that you can do when you go to an event, when you have a webinar, that you need to fill an event or you need to start filling your practice, whatever kind of thing. And what I would say is keep working it, even if you have something similar to this. How can you make your story even more compelling, more attractive, more magnetic? How can you explain your retreat even more succinctly so people know the elements and the system of your experience? And the more we do it, the more practice, practice makes perfect. We get to a place where it's so easy, so effortless. It just rolls off our tongue and it's natural. It's organic, and people can feel that, and people respond really well to that. And you may want to do it. See if you can do it in 15 minutes. See if you can do it in 30 minutes. See if you can do it in an hour, and how you would add more pieces to extend it or shorten it, and still have the same impact. Still capture people's souls. Because if you do BNI or any of these kind of networking groups, sometimes you only have a little nugget. You don't have a big space. But if you get in front of a group of people, you want to be able to capture them and pull them in. And so, really seize this opportunity to go in, dive deep, and really start to create this signature talk. I think we constantly have to keep going in and reevaluating, and I hope this helps Maddie, because she's going to be having a webinar soon. But the other piece to this is that this can be used universally. Anytime you have an opportunity to, again, get in front of a group of people that are potential really great clients, this is a great way to have them get to know you, get to know your event, and invite them into your tribe and into your circle. So that was my quick morning training. Hopefully that helps you guys. I'll check back if anybody has questions. I'm sure this will be replaying throughout the day and throughout the rest of the week, but pop them below. And also if you have any other requests for future trainings in this group, and also if you haven't introduced yourself, make sure you do, because we want to know who you are here in Experience Creators and what you're up to. I know what most of you do, but not everyone in the group knows what you do. So make sure you've introduced yourself, whether video or written. And if you're curating or starting to create an event for 2017 specifically, or even for next year for 2018, make sure we know about it. Make sure we know what's happening. We would love to keep in touch. And again, we all have lots of extensive networks, and it's a great way for us to all share. So have a beautiful day, and I hope this helped you guys. Have a great day. Bye.